Okay, death is one of those things that, it's another trigger word that we've got to be like break down and stop it being able to be used as a trigger word. So we don't have any fear about death. There's no point having fear about death. It's the only point of having fear about death is to protect you from serious injury and pain. That's it. It's a purely physical thing. Just the same as you don't want to like chop your finger when you're cutting some onions, so you're careful. You don't fear the onion. You don't fear the knife. So there's no point having fear of death. It's completely pointless. It's just the same as fear of the dark or fear of the unknown. it's, it doesn't solve anything. It doesn't do you any favors whatsoever. So it's a very important, well, useful thing to overcome fear of death. Forget it. It doesn't make any sense at all. It's completely irrational. And there's a lot of things like this connected with trigger words that are just, they've been put there through consistent and continual social and media representation of false ideas. That death is somehow something to be scared of. Sex is something to be ashamed of. You know, religion is something to be, you know, held in great esteem, and there's all these things. The way that we're brainwashed, they've put these influences down deliberately to control us and manipulate us. So therefore, we've got to understand how they control us and find out what the countermeasures are, and to implement those countermeasures. So it's really quite straightforward. Now, for people that aren't thinking along these lines, you're going to look weird, and they're going to think that you're some sort of probably devil, because they're not thinking. All that's happening is that all of their thoughts and feelings are clouded by all the propaganda and that's been put around these trigger words. So that when, for example, if you talk about Luciferianism, they automatically tend to see you as a devil, what they think of as a devil worshipper. Someone that is likely to sacrifice children to evil spirits, and sacrifice goats and drink their blood and stuff and that sort of thing. That's how they think. Well, and it's not thinking. It's all it is propaganda. That they're not even real people. They try to behave like real people, but they're complete fakes. They're not real. And when you've started to delve into these paths, these true paths of awakening, you realise that they're not real people, and that they can't do anything to you. They can't touch you. They've got no, they're just complete phantoms. They might have a physical body, but when you go up to it with your truth shining out of you, they will literally melt away like wax before a fire. I mean, literally, not actually their body, but on the astral plane. There's nothing they can do to. It's like putting light into darkness. The darkness disappears. Literally, just goes away. It's not there anymore. And that's how we've been kept in the dark, because they try to blow our candles out. So when you develop your light, you've got to be, do it in a careful, protected environment until you get your fire going properly. It's no good just using a little tiny candle flame to try and, light up a big cavern of darkness, because that little flame will get blown out easily. You've got to be a roaring fire. And it takes time to get fire going. You've got to get the fuel to get it going. You've got to do your research. You've got to get aware of what's going on. You've got to look at all the different sides of things. You've got to make sure there's no dampness getting in. You've got to look every side. Underneath, above, left, right, front, back, inside. You've got to look at all the different dimensions thoroughly. Dry everything out so that it's ready to be ignited, so that you can have a good supply of fuel for your fire. You can take over the darkness, then you can take over the astral. and dominate it, which is what we should be doing as humans. You know, if we're going to put, you know, take on our birthright, all the sort of religions that have been given to us, if there's any truth in them at all, we've got to stand up and be strong. There's no other choice. That's all we can do. Otherwise, we're just like, we're being used by like parasites. And they're pathetic little creatures that are having a right laugh at our expense. Not going to happen to me.